Hello everyone. So this video is a collection of results of daily surveys that I have been giving my middle school choir students basically every day since we have started remote learning back in March. So just a quick summary of what I did. 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, I would give a really short 3-question survey to my students every day. This is an example of one of them. So we have like multiple choice questions. Some are just yes or no. Some like short answer. And then I would also give like opinion questions where I put something and your 3 options were a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or it's kind of hard to see, but that's a little shrugging emoji there. I would use this just to kind of keep the students engaged and make sure and kind of check in with them each day. If it was like a Monday, I would ask them how their weekend was. I would use it to get some immediate feedback on remote learning because this was definitely sort of a new thing for everybody. And you ask like, how did you like that assignment? Is there anything that I could be doing better? Or just talking about remote learning and navigating the coronavirus and quarantine in general. So I figured I would share the results of not every single question because some questions did, dive into some personal things that some students were able to share. But these are some of the questions that I asked over the course of the quarantine. These do go in chronological order. So the first question is from March, like basically like the first day that we started our remote learning. And then as we progress, it's going to move into the future into June. And again, not every question will be on here. These are mostly I think these are actually all multiple choice questions. I wasn't able to get the results or figure out how to share the results for some of the fill in the blank or short answer questions on here. So here we go. So, would you rather go to prison for 4 years, but you automatically have whatever job you wanted after, or no prison time, but you have to shovel poop from the gorilla exhibit at the zoo for the rest of your life? And right away we can see that 80% of my students would rather go to prison and then have whatever job. 20% of them would rather just go shovel poop at the gorilla exhibit at the zoo for the rest of your life. I hope that those 20%, dream bigger than shoveling poop at the gorilla exhibit. But if that's seriously what you want to do, then more power to you. Then you don't have to go to prison. Then there you go. So this one, some of my multiple choices, I gave the option for other, and you'll see when there's like a crazy selection of color wheels here. These are all answers that my students basically typed in. So the question was pick one: Kanye West, Taylor Swift, or no thank you. Those were my 3 options. You can see Taylor has a slight lead over no thank you. I'm surprised. And Kanye with a mere 12.5%. I can't click on these and show you what all these are, but you can see, some of my students rather chose the Beatles or Imagine Dragons or Lewis Capaldi or Billie Eilish. Actually, the green one here, this is the Beatles. That means that I think it's 2 students typed in exactly the same thing, which was the Beatles. So there you go. Seems like we have more Tay fans here than Kanye. Okay, moving on. Which one do you use more? My only 2 answers I provided were YouTube and TikTok, and I'm honestly surprised that YouTube has more than TikTok. I totally would have thought it was going to be the other way around. We got a lot of Snapchats in here. That's more than one. Someone said, and TikTok and YouTube. This person said, yes. Ha 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 ha. I use both. We have some sense of humor here in choir. Netflix, YouTube, and TikTok. Yeah. Again, I really thought it was going to be YouTube. I thought TikTok was definitely going to have more votes. So that surprised me. Tell me about your height. So I like my height. I wish I was shorter. I wish I was taller. And Mr. Hartung, what kind of question is this? Almost beat out. I wish I was taller. I think that makes sense that this is the one that has the most votes. I mean, I'm All my students are not done growing, so I'm sure that they all wish they were taller. 8.3% wish they were shorter, and that is very interesting to me. Um, I guess maybe they just feel like they're too tall, or I'm not sure what. Um, a good solid 27% are confident in their height, but I think Mr. Hartung, what kind of question is this? Really shined here. Okay. Would you rather go 100 years in the past or 100 years into the future? And overwhelmingly, well, maybe not overwhelmingly, but definitely majority would rather go into the future. And I agree with this. I think, as cool it would be to see into 100 years in the past, I would much rather see what life is like 100 years into the future. Um, not to mention that, like, there are some things that like definitely were not great 100 years in the past. And that's not to say that things aren't going to be great 100 years in the future either, but I'm with the majority here. I would rather go 100 years into the future. Yeah. Another would you rather. This one was go. Would you rather go back to school sooner, but everyone has to wear a mask, or wait longer so no masks are necessary? So remember, this is back in like this might be April, early April or late March at this point. Before like it seemed like that going back to school with masks might be the move. But it's a pretty even split. Just a few more people saying that they would rather go back to school sooner, but everyone would wear a mask. Or not, got some people saying never go back to school. This one is be able to see your friends, but don't have to go to school. Masks are weird is probably my favorite answer out of all the questions. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I honestly thought that more students would wait longer, but I think a lot of students miss school and they don't want to admit it. Would you rather get $50,000 instantly or $5,000 every year for 15 years, total of 75%? This is the correct answer. I don't see why. I don't know why you would pick this unless you like just really want the money right now. You get more money if you just spread it out over 15 years. I guess these people have, they don't have the control over their impulse. Like maybe they know that they would just spend it right away and not save their money. This is the correct answer, guys. This is not even like an opinion. Like you should have picked this. I'm sorry. Okay, so now this is when I started giving these opinion questions. So these are going to show up more often. These thumbs up, thumbs down, or the shrug. So The Office was my first one, and interesting that the majority is the shrug. That not a lot of people have watched The Office, but close behind is the thumbs up. I am a fan of The Office. I think it's a good show. 11.4 people seem to disagree with us, but I think it's fine. I'm actually a little surprised that there's this many people who have not seen it or have no opinion of it. I feel like it's one of the top shows that's been on Netflix for a long time, but I don't know. Moving on, another opinion: country music. This is pretty close. Look at this split. The majority is no. The thumbs are down. Majority, but basically the same. 30.4 and 29% for shrug and thumbs up. I don't know. I don't know if this surprises me or not. I am not a hater of country music. I'm also not a huge fan of country music, but I don't really dislike it. I'm just sort of indifferent to it. I probably would have picked Shrug. I can name some country artists I like. I can also name some country artists that I stay away from, just because I don't find their music interesting to me. But that's not to say that there isn't country music that I think is musically interesting or moves me in some sort of way. So I would have gone with the Shrug here. Friends, the TV show. This one, most majority is thumbs up, but it seemed like more people thumbs down Friends than The Office. Yeah, that's true. 11.4 thumbs down The Office, but 20.6 thumbs down Friends. I might anger some of you, but I would fit into this thumbs down. I am not a fan of Friends. I just don't think it's funny. I don't see. I kind of get the appeal. It's like the typical sitcom. It's got some moments, but just in general, I wouldn't watch it. It's not for me. But the students in my choir seem to like it. So there you go. Now my facial hair question. So I gave a few options, and then there's some others here. So my options were: should I grow out my facial hair completely? Should I maintain the beard, which is what I usually do? Just like trim it when it gets a little grizzly. The hashtag corn stash. Just shave the beard and keep the mustache. Clean shaven baby face, which seems to be fairly popular option. And then the last option I put was do whatever he wants because he's a strong, independent man. And that one definitely was the winner at 30.9%. I thank you all for giving me some empowerment over my facial hair. I just thought that would be funny. But again, the second runner-up would be maintain the beard, which is what I usually do. Corn stash, not as popular as I had thought it would be. I thought that more people were gonna be down for the corn stash, but no. A few people did say I should just shave my hair and just go bald and then grow it out. I don't think that's for me. I don't think that's the look for me. I just don't think that's my style. Maybe it is, and I'm just ignorant to it. Anyway, moving on. Stranger Things. This one was like a gimme. I knew that over half would be a thumbs up for Stranger Things. I'm actually surprised it's this low. I could have guessed it would be at least 70% or higher. But yeah, it's a pretty popular show. I don't even know if I finished the last season, which is bad, but I guess I should go do that. This was a very interesting one. Tell me about all the work all of your teachers, so this is all across the middle school, have assigned you so far. And I think by this point we are in mid-April. I should have written down the dates for these, but so my options were only too much work, I feel overwhelmed, like kind of in the middle, like good amount of work, not too hard or too easy, or then not enough work, I feel bored. 50%, and these are 70 students. 50% of my students, 35 of them, said too much work, I feel overwhelmed. And 28% said good amount of work, and then the other, this is what, like 22-ish percent, is kind of like a mix of these. Like some teachers give way too much work, it's different every day. Some of the responses were like, one teacher might be giving me too much work, but others aren't. Or like, this class is hard, but this class isn't. Sort of like it's sort of it doesn't really fit in these three categories. But I do want to point out that 0% of my students picked not enough work, I feel bored. I mean that's that tells you everything right there. Yeah, no, yeah, a lot of work. This was pretty overwhelming for my students, and that's kind of why I did these surveys, was to kind of give them like just something kind of simple to do and just kind of take their mind off things and channel their opinions into something more positive than schoolwork. Anime. Wow, a big thumbs down in general for anime. This is I'm curious to know of this 52.9%, I would love to know how many of these students actually watched like anime and tried it, or if this is just based off of like what they think or what they see anime to be. I'm not super big on anime. I have watched like a few shows, but I'm not like very into it. There are like some really big shows that I have not seen. Maybe for me, it's just sometimes it's the art style, but I'm kind of getting over that. I do know that there are some really good stories in anime, but it's just I don't know. But 15% did say they like anime, so there you go. Moving right along. Dua Lipa, the opinion, 70% shrugged. I was surprised that 70% had no idea who Dua Lipa is. I'm sure you've heard her songs on TikTok, but The fact that 70% had no opinion is very interesting to me. I think a lot of these students would recognize like the song, uh, or songs that Dua Lipa have sung like through TikTok or YouTube or anything like that. Uh, so yeah, this might be the largest margin out of all of them. Definitely out of that we've seen, but this might be like the largest, like clear cut. Like most people had no idea out of every survey question that we're going to look at today. So this was are you left-handed, right-handed, or ambidextrous? And 80% are right-handed with 12% left, and then a few ambidextrous people. I mean, this is pretty typical. What's it, like 9 out of 10 people are right-handed. So the fact that 8 out of 10 here, that's pretty close. It's not like it's like 40% right-handed and the rest are left. So that's pretty close. And then even if you counted like half of this ambidextrous into there and then half there, that's 85 to 15. Like that's still pretty good. So this was sort of like a baseline question. Like are they paying attention? Video games, another big thumbs up. This is is this bigger? Slightly bigger than the Dua Lipa one. Thumbs up for video games. We have a choir of gamers, ladies and gents. Yeah, not a lot of people did a thumbs down, and some people did shrugs, but we have a big majority of our students play video games, and not surprising to me. This, based on what I know about my students, this is not a surprise. Now, I wouldn't say that out of these 70% or whatever, I don't think that all 70% of these students are like hardcore, like gonna hop on Fortnite every single day and like play a video game every single day. But I think that this is just do you have a positive opinion towards it? Yeah, and I would have guessed this. I would have guessed that it would be a big spread. So that's all good to me. Is a banana a berry? Wow. So 64.6% think that a banana is a berry. And I have to say that the 64.6 is correct. A banana is indeed a berry. I think I said before this question, don't look it up on Google. I don't remember if I said no cheating, and just try to go from your instinct. So whether or not they cheated or not, a banana is indeed a berry. If you did not know, a banana is a berry. So there's your fact of the day. Opinion broccoli. This one makes me happy. I love broccoli. It's one of my favorite vegetables, and it seems like more than half of you, or of my students, like broccoli, which is very exciting. I guess as exciting as broccoli can be. Yeah, I will say that I didn't like broccoli when I was in middle school. Like I would have voted no if I had gotten this survey when I was in middle school. It was a taste that I acquired later in life. So good for you. Good for you guys. Broccoli is a great vegetable. Good for you. Opinion on coffee. This one's pretty close. We have obviously the majority of the thumbs up, but 33 as a thumbs down is not too far behind. If you know me, you know I drink coffee every single day, so I'm landing in that blue. But again, I didn't really drink coffee when I was in middle school. I would have definitely gone in here. I definitely liked the smell of coffee when I was in middle school, but I'm a little surprised to see that we have a large, or I should say, we have a majority of my students who thumbs up the coffee. So that's very interesting. Orange juice. Okay. Orange juice, we got a big thumbs up for orange juice, 60.8%. Now, what I should have done in retrospect is I should have added a, whether it's a second question, or I should have done different choices for whether you liked pulp or no pulp. I am on the team of no pulp in my orange juice. I think it's gross. I don't want to be drinking solid things, I think pulp is disgusting. Had it been down the pulp, I would have done a thumbs down. But in general, I like orange juice. I don't buy it and I don't drink it like all the time. But if it's an option presented to me, like yeah, I'll drink some orange juice. That's no problem. Aha. Now, is a hot dog a sandwich? This was just a simple yes, no, and then an other. So 50% do not think a hot dog is a sandwich. 26.9% think it is a sandwich, and then we have a little less than a quarter giving different opinions. Like when it's in a bun, I guess it is. This person, it depends if you use a bun as a sandwich or the bread as a bun or like a hot dog roll. I like this one that says, "Don't make me think about those kind of questions." It's a real brain teaser there. I don't know. I guess a hot dog would be like a special sandwich. I don't know if it would like. I think it would be like how like a rectangle can be a square, but it's not a square. I think a hot dog is like a subsection of sandwich. You know, if that makes sense. Oh. Pickles, 57.7% like pickles. I also like pickles. I think they're great, especially on hot dogs. But yeah, pickles are good. This is kind of like what we've been seeing before. We have a pro pickle choir. Guacamole. I am surprised that less people like guacamole than pickles. That's very interesting to me. Also, the fact that the thumbs down and the shrug are even, that doesn't really say much, but that's just very interesting. That it's still, the negative or the don't care is still more than half than the thumbs up. So I still can't say that a majority of my students like guacamole. And I think guacamole is okay. I definitely eat some every once in a while. It's not like my favorite food or anything, but I have a positive opinion of it. Okay, so now we got pick a side. There was left Twix, the right Twix. They have that war. One option was, bro, who cares? They taste the same, which was the winner in this poll. And then the last option was Twix are gross, and I made the comment of this is the incorrect answer. And 16% of you, I'm sorry to say, you are incorrect. Twix are not gross. They are delicious. And I think you should reconsider. Looks like left Twix has a very slight majority over the right Twix. I don't know the difference. I would have gone with the yellow and said, "Bro, who cares? They taste the same." I don't understand the appeal. It's just a marketing ploy. But I'm not going to get all conspiracy theory to you today. Wearing shoes in the house. Okay, almost 62% with the thumbs down. I agree. You should be comfy in your house. Why would you wear shoes? Why would you wear shoes? I mean, the only reason I could see if you have like younger siblings or you have like stuff everywhere and like they have their toys everywhere, you don't want to like step on it or break anything, then or like you don't want to like step on a Lego and hurt your foot. So why are you wearing shoes? Be comfy. Just be comfy. Just take those shoes off. You don't need to wear them. You don't need to. Blue cheese, opinion. This disappoints me. Blue cheese is so good, and I can't believe the majority of my students do not like blue cheese. That is so disappointing to me. I definitely am a blue cheese enthusiast, and that got the least amount of votes, which is which is a shame. Yeah, blue cheese is great. I don't get it. I guess it can. I guess my only like guess is that it freaks people out because it's like moldy or whatever. I mean, it tastes great. That's a disappointing one to me. Wearing mismatched socks, big majority. Okay, so you'll eat you don't eat the delicious cheese, but you'll wear the mismatched socks. I don't know. I'm actually the opposite of this. I don't know if I could wear mismatched socks. I would be in either one of these. I usually try not to, but I'm in one of these boats here. I do know that this is a fairly popular thing. Like in school, I would see most of my students would wear mismatched socks. Like it's just not really a big deal. I think it comes down to like a an OCD ish type of thing. Yeah. Moving on, spinach, another delicious vegetable. Thumbs down. Now, again, just like broccoli, I did not like spinach when I was in middle school, so I would have picked a thumbs down too. But I think spinach is good. I think spinach is good now. I would have given it a thumbs up. I think if you don't like spinach, then, or if you're one of these people who don't like spinach, I would encourage you to try it in a different way that you have before because, um, I'm not super keen on like raw spinach. I like raw spinach on like a hoagie or like a sandwich, but not really in a salad. But I think cooked spinach is good. Creamed spinach, delicious. Look up, try to find new ways to eat spinach. I think it's great. Okay. Facial piercings, not including ears. This is another pretty even split. Most people saying thumbs down. Uh, and, a lot of people with a shrug and some thumbs up too. This is pretty interesting. I do teach middle school students. I'm almost positive that very few of them have facial piercings that are not their ears. There might be like one or two have like nose piercings, and maybe they're in this category. But yeah, I don't think that surprises me. The opinion on NASCAR. Now this is very interesting because when I was in school, if you were to like if this question were given to like when I was in school, I think that a lot more votes would be in the red for the thumbs down than for the indifference of no opinion. Um, but yeah, it seems like a lot of people just don't seem to really care about NASCAR. They have no opinion either way. I'm actually surprised that 22% of my students enjoy NASCAR or they have a positive opinion about it. That is, I don't know, I would not have expected that. It just, not that NASCAR isn't, I'm not a super fan of NASCAR. I think it's fine. I don't go out of my way to watch it. But yeah, I'm surprised that 22% have a strong opinion or a positive opinion on it. Crocs. Ooh, 46. Thumbs up for Crocs. I do not think that Crocs look nice. I've never worn a Croc. I will be transparent and say I've never tried on a Croc. I hear they're very comfy. So maybe that's the appeal there. I guess that's the whole point is that they're comfortable, but they look kind of like uh, not fashionable. So maybe I'm not going to comment on this one because I haven't really worn a Croc before. I just know it looks interesting. Okay, this is opinion on the Netflix show The Outer Banks. We must be approaching the end because this was a pretty recent question. I remember. Um, I am really surprised that over half of my students has no idea this show exists. I wonder if I asked this question today, if this number would be lower, and it would be in one of these two. Because I would have thought that it would be kind of more positive or not. Now, what is interesting that uh, out of the shrugs, like even when it's just the thumbs up and the thumbs down, it's almost entirely thumbs up for Outer Banks, um, which I understand because I think it's a show that is geared towards students of that age. I think it's very appealing to someone at that age. However, I am not at that age, and I would give that a pretty big thumbs down. I watched the trailer and I watched like the first few minutes of it, and I was like, this show is just not for me. So I get this. I don't get this. I feel like more people would be there. Okay, in a similar vein to is a hot dog a sandwich, I soon followed up with is a hamburger a sandwich? And this was another yes, no, or fill in the blank, or like an other sort of situation. 45% with the yes and 35 with the no. And a whole bunch of other people saying I have no idea. It can be whatever you want it to be. It sort of is. It is, but it isn't at the same time. Again, I think this is sort of like the hot dog, where the hamburger is like a subsection of sandwich. Like it's a type of sandwich, but it's not really a sandwich. I don't know. I think maybe once you start putting enough things on top of a hamburger, then or like inside the hamburger, then maybe it does become a sandwich. I'm not sure. Here's another opinion question on energy drinks. I know those are fairly popular with some of my students, and I honestly thought that this number was going to be higher, but it's only like 28% with most people with the shrug. Good for you, 41%. You should not be drinking that stuff, especially at your age, but just in general. I'm not really a fan of these energy drinks. I've probably had like two or three in my life, and they were all because I was like pulling a one like an all nighter during college, trying to finish up work or something like that. And it was just sort of like I needed the energy. Yeah, I don't think they're very good for you. So I am on the 41. Good for you guys for not even having an opinion, and also good for y'all for trying it and having the opinion and saying you don't like it, or you're just against it no matter what. So pretty happy with that 71.2% there. Moving on. This was another gimme. The school lunch cookies are fire, okay? 70%. They are good, okay? Whoever you are, that's like 3%. The school lunch cookies, like, come on. That's like one of the things I miss most is going and getting some of those cookies or bribing you to go get me one of those cookies during advisory. So, yeah, 26%. If you get the chance to, go when we come back to school, get a cookie. They're really good. They're just really good. For being a school lunch cookie, they're fire. They're great. Mayonnaise. Most people in my class do not like mayonnaise. 48% do not like mayonnaise. I did not like mayonnaise when I was in middle school. I think it's great now. I'll put it on anything. Yeah, so that doesn't really surprise me. I think it's just like it's just like you had to grow into it sort of thing for mayonnaise. So these final questions that we're coming up to for the last week of school, or I guess it was the second to last week of school, one of my survey questions was, now it's your turn. You come up with the survey questions. So they could type in whatever question they wanted, and I picked, a handful of them, and I gave them out over the past week. So all the questions you've seen so far are ones that I came up with. These last questions are questions that some of my students came up with. So Kelly came up with the awesome question of, do you think a guinea pig is a pig? And it seems like 80% say no, a guinea pig is not a pig. I kind of agree. I don't think a guinea pig is a pig. I mean, just because it has pig in the name doesn't mean it's a pig. Sorry, 19.7% of you. I don't think guinea pig is a pig. This was an opinion by Elena, and it was just of Billie Eilish, who I know is one of her favorite singers. It seems majority actually are indifferent or thumbs down. That is more, added up together, that is more than the thumbs up of 45%. So while that might have the most votes, it seems like more people do not like or have no opinion of Billie Eilish. This is about right. I know it seems like most of my students, it's either you love her or you hate her. I honestly thought that this number, the shrug, would be smaller and more of these votes would have gone to either the thumbs up or the thumbs down. I would have guessed that this would have had the most votes overall, though, the thumbs up. That makes more sense to me. This was a brilliant Would You Rather by Nevaeh, and her Would You Rather was, would you rather have as many followers as Charli D'Amelio or get straight A's for the rest of your life? And 80% of my students would rather get straight A's, which, I think is the correct answer. I would have done that too. Now, a lot of you said that, I would have gotten straight A's for the rest of my life anyway. I'm a smart student, blah, blah, blah. I work really hard, so that's why I picked this. Some of you would just rather have the fame and say, I just want the followers. So, very telling. We have some hardworking students in here, and not to say that Charlie D'Amelio isn't hardworking, and they definitely earned their followers, but yeah, I guess I could have seen a few more votes in this Charlie D'Amelio option. Leah picked, and this is our. Is this our last question? Yeah, this is our last question. There is a tiny room covered in live crawling roaches and spiders. And if you stay in there for 24 hours, you get $10 million. Would you stay in the room and get the money or not? And the majority did say yes, they would stay in the room covered in live crawling, creepy roaches and spiders. I don't know if I could do it, honestly. I mean, like, if we're it's a tiny room, first of all. It's a small room. And covered, like you can't see any of the walls, you can't see anything. 24 hours? I don't know if I'd be able to like, is there anything else in that room? Is there like I don't know if I could do it. But $10 million is a lot of money. Anyway, 58.5% of my students are very brave and they would do it for the money. I don't know. I don't know if I would have done it, to be honest. Yeah, that's a really tough one. So those are all the questions and the responses I have to share with you today. Yeah, this whole experiment with all these results has been very interesting, very telling on my students. I learned a lot about them, even with some of the questions that you did not get to see the results for. Very insightful to things going on in their life or at home. So this was a really fun experiment, and if we were in school, I do like to keep it loose sometimes before my choir rehearsal starts, and we'll talk about like our opinions on things like that, and it's really hard to replicate that when you're online, and so that was kind of my school of thought with these surveys. Just kind of like, get them talking and get them engaged in something else that doesn't have to do with school or even choir or singing like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I asked them a lot of music questions too. Like how they best learn how they best learn songs, or about their ability to read music and all things like that. But yeah, this was my little quarantine survey experiment. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video and enjoy the results. Were there any results that I shared that surprised you? If so, please let me know. You can leave a comment or send me a message or whatever. And that is it. So have an awesome summer.